Welcome to Grow Your Business and Grow Your Wealth. Gary Health is excited to bring you another powerful conversation to help you grow and protect your business and finances. Today's episode is hosted by a special guest, personally selected by Gary, so you can keep learning and moving forward even when Gary is off the mic. Settle in and enjoy today's insights.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Grow Your Business, Grow Your Wealth. I am your guest host, Sandy, with Sandy Financial Solutions, where we help individuals, families, and business owners make informed financial decisions that can support their long term success and financial confidence. Today, I'm excited to welcome Jeremy Rodriguez. He's a broker and owner of D.A.R.E. He'll tell us what D.A.R.E means in a second. He's a real estate investor and entrepreneur who built his business around helping people create wealth through smart real estate investing. Welcome to the show, Jeremy. Can you kindly tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me today.
You're welcome.
Um, like you said, my name is Jeremy Rodriguez. I'm a Ohio real estate broker. I own a brokerage. It's called D.A.R.E Realty. The D.A.R.E stands for Dream Achievers Real Estate, and we are an investor-based focused brokerage, where investors are usually really our primary focus. We do home sales and purchases for regular people that are not investors, but most of our business does come from investors. So it's kind of our wheelhouse, and we are able to do a lot of different uh, deals that we can finagle stuff around and just make it work a little bit better because that's, again, our wheelhouse, and we can get those type of deals done.
Nice, amazing. And can you tell us a bit about how did you get into real estate? What was that journey like?
So I got into it because my father used to always joke around, and he would sit there and say, "Oh, you should become a real estate agent because then you could start finding me houses really cheap." And so it was kind of like the running joke that we had. And then back in early 2018, my father suddenly passed away. And he had a couple of little life insurance policies he left for me and my brothers. And so I took the one, and I spent it, and I paid for the real estate class for Hondros. I did an online class, and I was licensed probably within a month of starting my classes. So I've been working as a primarily as an agent since 2018. And then early last year, I said, you know what? I'm tired of working for other people. I was like, it's time to get your broker's license. So I went and did everything for the broker's license, and here's where I'm at today.
That's amazing. I'm so sorry for your loss, but then I'm happy to hear that it was a stepping stone for you to realize your dreams and you're really impacting generations. I know that firsthand. And you build there around investor first philosophy instead of the traditional brokerage model. What would you say was broken in the industry that you wanted to fix?
So me, uh, I'm not biased, but it might come off as a little biased. But a lot of brokerages, when you go work for them, to me, it's the training that they offer. Most of them offer the same type of training, but a lot of times that training is all the other agents are your enemy. You got to be better than them. You got to do this. You got to do that. You always got to be better. Whereas me, I like to train my agents at, how to collaborate. I use music for the perfect example. Look at Eminem, how big of an artist he is. Do you think he would have gotten that big only doing solo albums, solo tracks, not having guest stars, not appearing on other people's albums? That's what you have to do to make it in any industry. You have to learn how to collaborate. You can't have everybody be your enemy.
Right.
So my thing is I like to try to teach everybody we can work together rather than against each other.
And yes, that's true. There's a lot of power in collaboration, positive collaborations where you see each other as a helping hand to help make things better. Because you can never do it alone. It's too much to want to do it alone. So I really commend you for having that mindset and training the next generation to do better when it comes to collaboration.
Mhm.
Now, many people see real estate as buying property. You see it as building wealth. What is the greatest mind shift people need to have before they purchase their first investment?
So what I try to teach my investors is I get a lot of new people and I try to teach them, they're not buying a property, they're creating or buying a business. And that's how they have to have that mindset because a business is either going to make you money or it's going to cost you money. And so you got to have all your systems in place and do everything proper to make the business work. Because once you start putting all the emotion and everything in it, it's not a business, it's a property, and a property is going to lose you money. That's what I try to teach everybody.
Right. So you're saying separate emotions from logic.
Exactly.
Wow. It's amazing how sometimes people mix it all together. They get emotional when trying to buy their first property. Like, oh, no, I don't feel it, and
Well,
all of that.
one of the biggest downfalls you hear often is a landlord who, he had something bad or she had something bad going on in their property. It's like, oh, I felt bad for them, so I gave them a little extra time to get their rent together. Well, that's when your emotions playing into it. You're trying to be a good person, which I'm not saying you can't be a good person, but you got to understand doing that good deed might come back and bite you in the butt later. So you just got to know. And if you go at it logically, you probably will say, you know what? Here's the contracted lease. This is what we're supposed to do. You're not upholding your end. I'm going to ask you to leave.
Have you had people take advantage of that, like being emotional and be like, oh, I'm being considerate, and then they kind of like take advantage of those soft part of you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had tons of people take advantage. I mean, I get it from renters, I get it from contractors, I get it from even buyers and sellers. It's just it depends on what they're going to do, what they're going to listen to, and how they're going to build. You have to help set up the systems, you have to help do everything for them, especially the new people.
Right.
And, I like to try to tell everybody, like, even if you only do one or two deals with me, later on, if I have to do a deal with you, it's all right because hopefully you still remember how to do it the right way from what I taught you.
Right. Right. Amazing. And you've experienced both the investor side and the broker side of real estate. What lessons have you learned with investing with your own money that books never taught you?
So I try to invest with other people's money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What I do is I do a simple formula. It's a simple BRRRR formula. I find a distressed property. I have a hard money or private money lender. They'll lend on the purchase and the repairs. I try to buy a house at say 60% of the after rehab value, and maybe put another 10% in repair value in so I can do a cash out refi. I never want to be over that 70% number though, because when you do your cash out refi, you're gonna get everything paid back to your private lender, and now you just have a cash flowing property with a regular mortgage on it, and now your tenants are paying that mortgage down for you. And as long as every couple of years you keep doing refinances and that you're pulling out the equity, it's tax free. And I could talk about this for hours, but this is what gets me excited about real estate is teaching people how to use cash out refis so you get non-taxable income and how they can actually plan and shape their whole life around that, and they have a lot less taxes they have to pay by doing it that way.
Right, right. Taxes, taxes, taxes. Oh my.
Hmm.
You always have to
Government's got
be
to
on the
get their cut.
lookout. You always have to be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, you'll be pushing so much of what you make to taxes and keeping very little. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's one thing a lot of new investors don't understand or know how it works is their capital gains. Capital gains is a big thing. Me personally, I always think that they need to have some type of class in high school, a tax class, a wealth class, whatever you want to call it. You need to start teaching these kids about taxes. You need to teach them about credit. You need to teach them about these things that they're going to need in life.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad that I learned how to, play an instrument in school that I'd never seen since school because it's really helpful during tax season.
Right. Right. And whenever I sit down with investors to talk about tax strategies, tax planning, it amazes me how most people don't know there are legal ways to reduce those tax payout, especially with the capital gains taxes and all of that fun stuff. And so people just end up shipping out so much to the IRS, which they are grateful for. Um, but there are ways that you could help reduce your tax payout. Now, Jeremy, what are some of your favorite books when it comes to real estate and investment?
Some of my favorite books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always go to one, and to me, it's the one book that
Okay,
changed my whole outlook on everything. Um, Actually, I have it right here next. I'm gonna grab it. It's right here. Give me one sec.
sure.
So actually, I have one favorite book, then I have a second favorite book, and they're
Okay.
sitting right here next to my desk. So I grabbed it and never split the difference.
Mm,
This book right here, uh, written by Chris Voss. I'm sorry, Chris Voss. It's called Never Split the Difference. Um, it's a former FBI hostage negotiator, and he
ooh,
teaches you the mindset you should have when you're trying to do negotiations. He gives you keywords that make people slip from logic to where they act emotional. He gives you situations to where you use these certain keywords and everyone's on the same page, but yet you already know what you're going to be doing and how you're going to get it because you're actually ahead of everybody and
wow.
you're doing everything that is going to work for your side. But because you're using these keywords and you're trying to get the whole deal done,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, oh, yeah, he's working for all of us. Second favorite book, Rich Dad, Poor
Oh,
Dad.
yeah.
Everybody loves that one when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many simple little things in that book that teaches so much.
Hmm.
One thing I push on all my friends, my family and all that is he explains about credit cards and bank cards in the book. Um, my bank cards never leave my house. They're always in my safe. Because if you ever lose a bank card, you got to fight to get your money. You got to fight to get a new card. You got to fight out of bad transactions. So he says, have a simple card like a Cash App card. You need cash, transfer it from your bank account to your Cash App card. You can lock your Cash App card. That way, if it's ever stolen, it's locked, they can't use it.
Right.
So he teaches you a lot about securing a lot of your finances once you start building and once you start getting them. So both of these books are good hand to hand because one's teaching you how to grow and keep going, and one's showing you how to grow and keep going. Plus, it's showing you how to secure everything at the end too. So those two
Amazing.
books I recommend to everybody.
Amazing book. And yes, negotiations sometimes don't come easily to everyone. So it's important to build that muscle.
Mhm.
Now, when people think about building wealth, they often are just chasing the next deal instead of building systems. How important is discipline and consistency compared to finding the perfect investment?
I tell all my investors the first conversation I have with them, two things. I'm going to tell you no more than I'm going to tell you yes. And then also, there's no such thing as the perfect deal.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to tell you no more because I don't want you to get into a bad deal. There's going to be deals out there. Oh, this looks amazing. I like it so bad. I want it. I want it. I want it. The numbers look good. But if it's like in a bad area, has bad tenants in and out, doesn't matter how it looks if it's going to be a bad investment. So I'm going to tell people like, look, that's bad investment. The answer is going to be no. You should not do that deal. I've had investors walk away from me because I've told them no, but then they've always come back because they're like, man, you were right.
Yep.
And that's why I try to teach everybody. My whole thing is I teach. I'm not a broker. I tell everybody I'm like a teacher. I
Right.
teach people how to grow wealth. I teach people how to grow overall in life. And that's what I like to do. I love to help people. The second thing, like I said, outside of telling you no, is there's no perfect deal.
Right.
Um, Anything can happen with any deal. Um, I recently had an investor purchase a home, got it off market, got it at a good price, started doing repairs. He's about $20,000 over budget right now. Prior to that $20,000, she's like, man, this is the perfect deal. But again, what happened is something come up that we couldn't see. The house had to be rewired for electrical work. Well, to get in and to do that, that's a 15,000 plus job. Then other little things added up and piled up. So that's why he's about 20,000 over. So I always tell everybody when you budget something, make sure you budget a nice little cushion of like oopsies. This is something we can't see, something we overlook because when we're purchasing a house, we can't see into the walls. We can't see into certain things, and we have to go by what our gut tells us. And if we're prepared for something that's going to come up, then hopefully we'll have it in our budget and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. This investor now, instead of flipping the house, what he's going to do is hold on to the house for a year. He'll collect the higher rents on the house. And then next year he'll sell it because next year when he sells it, the capital gains will go down. So now he'll make a little bit better money on it. Plus he'll make the year's worth of rent on it as well.
Right. Wow. You never know what you don't know. That's why it's always important to have an experienced person on your side because they see what you don't see, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, I know interest rates, inflation, market uncertainty, all of these sometimes scare many people away from investing. Are there any risks that you can correctly predict? Or are you seeing like any risk or misunderstanding with opportunities when it comes to these three factors? Like interest rates, inflation, market uncertainties. How do they impact everything?
So a lot of people get scared of interest rates. Um, I have many people who will approach me and even on the home buyer side, and like, oh, I'm a renter now and I want to buy a house. And then I'll sit there and we'll talk to a lender and 7%. Oh, I can't pay 7%. And then I ask the most logical question that they've ever heard in their life, and it makes their mind go, because I tell them, how much interest are you paying with your rent? And the correct answer is 100% because you're not getting nothing out of it except to stay at that property. So you're paying 100% interest just to be there, and they can tell you to leave. So why should an interest of 7% to purchase and have your own home, why should that affect you? So I try to explain to people, you shouldn't worry too much about the interest rates, especially depending on your situation. Um, like it says, the way I do it is I always go hard money or private money. Most of those people are 12, 13%, and it's usually simple interest. So it's only interest. Um, my last loan on one of my rental properties, uh, it's like $50,000, simple interest. So each month I was just paying interest. When the note's going to be called, I'll just have to pay back that 50,000 plus whatever fees they have on it or whatnot. And then my interest rate of that 13% will just now go to a regular mortgage, which right now I use DSCRs, which are debt service coverage ratio loans. Really simple for investors, 20-25% down. The lender looks at your experience as a investor or as a landlord. Uh, if you're experienced, they'll do 20%. If you're newer, you're working your way up, they'll do 25% because it's more risk. But they're very simple to get. It's usually over 640 or 660 credit score, depending on the lender. That down payment and the rent of the property is usually a 1-to-1 ratio. So what that means is if your mortgage is $1,000 a month, your rent would have to be $1,000 a month. You have to cover the whole amount of the mortgage with the rent. You have those simple factors, boom, you're approved for that loan pretty much.
Right.
Depending on the lender, there might be other little simple things, but you're not providing taxes, you're not providing all kinds of other stuff. It's cutting out a lot of the work for you. That's why you're paying more of a down payment because they're taking more risk. But in the end, it's usually cheaper for you because you're not paying PMI, you're not doing all this other stuff. So you got to know whoever you have helping you, they got to know how to manage around all these different situations
Right.
and experience in these situations.
Right. Very important factors. And you've worked with investors a lot. What have you seen separates those who build lasting wealth from those who never move past their first property?
The good ones listen to me. Uh, no, so I try to explain to everybody that, you have a plan. When you want to invest, you already have that plan. I say you have to tell me your plan. Because once you tell me your plan, I can say, okay, that's a very good plan. Let's tweak it like this. And some people would get offended, but once an experienced person like me explains why this tweak needs to be made, then they're like, oh, okay, I get it. So as long as you're teaching these people and you're teaching these investors, it's always a good thing. I tell everybody, you should be learning at least one thing a day, something new every day, because you have to keep growing.
Right, right. Yeah, we learn every day. When you stop learning, you stop growing.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Now, imagine someone listening to us today. They want to leave a financial legacy for their family, but they feel they are starting too late. What will you tell them, and what should their first step be?
Well, first off, I would never say it's too late. It's never too late to start. They could start tomorrow,
Mm,
and that's the beginning. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Saying you're too late, no, you're just not going to get as much profit if you were going to make something, from sooner. Perfect example where I'm at. I'm in Lorain County, Ohio. Okay. There's two cities here inside of Lorain County, the city of Lorain and the city of Elyria. 7, 8 years ago, you were able to buy these fixer-upper houses for 5,000 to 20,000. Hey, I mean, that's good if you bought back then. I know a lot of people who bought a lot of houses back then. Those same people now are selling those houses $150,000 plus. So they're making great returns on those houses. So as long as you buy now, and hey, 5, 10 years from now, the prices could double.
mm-hmm.
So it's not too late to start. You
Right,
might just not get as much profit. So start now, get everything in order, get your systems in place, and then structure everything. I always tell everybody they should do everything through a trust. If you have a Roth IRA, you purchase through your Roth IRA, turn it into a self-directed purchase through it. So again, it cuts down on your taxes. The trust, go ahead and set it up so your family's involved. This way, if something happens to you, it reverts to your family, skips through probate, and
right,
you're leaving that legacy with the family.
right. Absolutely. That trust is very important. The right structure is very important because there's a thin line between leaving a legacy and crashing everything to zero, letting it end with you. If you don't have the right structure in place, everything, all your hard work ends with you. And your
Right.
family has to start all over. Your children have to start all over. But legacy planning is very important. Now,
Yeah.
Jeremy, what is something you want people to know, whether about financial planning, building wealth, real estate investment, that I haven't asked you, but you want people to know?
My best advice I would give somebody that we really haven't talked about, I mean, we touched on a little bit, is get in a room full of people who do it. because that room full of people, you're going to hear the stories of people who did it very easy, were very successful, people who had to work and bust their butt. It
Great.
was very hard for them, but they also then became very successful. And then you're going to hear stories of people who they lost everything. But it's important that you hear all those stories because this way you can learn from somebody else's mistake and you won't make that same mistake.
Right.
Um, I'm actually the president of a local real estate nonprofit. It's called the Lake Erie Landlord Association, but it's also known as the Lake Erie Real Estate Investors Association. We're about 260 members strong. We have a general meeting every month. We have a couple meetings throughout the month at the office and everything. And that's what we do is we try to get everybody together and we make it so they learn from us. I mean, we're a real estate nonprofit. Education is our important thing, and we
Right.
try to teach as much as we can. We've got people in there who have hundreds of properties, and we have people who don't have no property. But everybody's there to learn. Everyone's there for the same mission, and that's so that we can make everybody grow and we can make it so the future
Right.
investors know what they're doing and they do it properly.
Wow, amazing. Yes. If you want to go fast, listen to those who have been through it so you don't make the same mistakes. They see the red flags from a long distance. There's truly power in mentorship. Oh,
Hey,
there we go, guys. You see that?
like
Amazing.
your landlord association.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. That's beautiful. Jeremy, thank you so much for sharing your experience and practical advice with us today. There were so many valuable lessons for everyone looking to build wealth through smart investing, thoughtful planning, and long term decision making. And thank you to
Well,
everyone for listening to Grow Your Business, Grow Your Wealth. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who wants to build stronger financial future. Again, I'm Sandra with Sandy Financial Solution, reminding you that financial success isn't built overnight. It's built one smart decision at a time. Until next time, keep growing your business and growing your wealth. Have a great rest of your day, Jeremy, and it was great talking with you.
all right. Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.